Hello everyone, my name is Balakrishna. Welcome to my Bala Gen AI Telugu YouTube channel. All of you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Today I am going to discuss about scripts in ServiceNow. What are the different type of scripts in ServiceNow? These are in the majorly divided into the two types. One is the client side scripts and then server side scripts. Client side scripts and then server side scripts. And then again client side scripts again classified into the two types. What are the two types? One is the client scripts. Second one is the UI policy. UI policy. And then these scripts are very important in the client script as well as server side scripts. These are the very important scripts in especially in the service now. These scripts are very helpful to automation the logic and then um, improve the performance based on the scripts. Now I am majorly concentrating to explaining on client side scripts. Then afterwards I will explain clearly in detail server side scripts. If anyone watching my YouTube channel first, please subscribe and then click on bell icon. If I am uploading any new videos, you should get notification regularly or oftenly. If you like this content in this YouTube channel, please share and then subscribe to your friends and then your colleagues and then required groups. Thank you. Now I am going to discuss about client side scripts. Now these client side scripts are very important role plays. What is the majorly we need to learn in this client side scripts? Now, this learning module is about client-side scripting. Client-side scripting execute within the user's browser. What is the here we should know? We should know two major meanings. Majorly, you should know meanings of the client, meaning of the server. Client meaning. Client meaning is user side, users. Server side meaning is that is in data center or database, otherwise where our application will located, where our application is has located in that place, that is web browser also, server also, database also, data center also, both all are in the same category. Now client is the users means me or you or someone's. Server means we want to fetch information where our application has located in the database as well as data server as well as web browsers. This is the meaning of client as well as server side. Now, client side scripts execute within a user's browsers and are used to manage forms and form fields. Here majorly the form is there and then form fields also there. Suppose this is an application, these application majorly contains with forms. We will call it as a forms and then form fields. Form means nothing but a application. Form fields is nothing but what are the attributes are contains inside the form. That is the meaning. Now, examples of things client side scripts can do include what we need to do in client side scripts. First, place the cursor in a form field on form load. Once the form load is in our system, then we need to cursor in a form field. Next, generate alerts, confirmations, and message. Populate a form field in response to another field values. Highlight a form field and then validate form data. Modify choice list options and then hide and show fields or sections. If you want to hide or show fields or section, it is also possible by using client scripts. These are the these are the examples. These are the examples while using client script. These are the things we need to perform. What are the things? Form field, and then form load, and then alerts, confirmation and messages, and then populate a form field in response to another field's values. These are the things we need to do. How to do? First, how to do? We need to go with our PDI. PDI stands for Personal Development Instance. In this instance, you should go. This is the way of we need to execute. How to do? I will explain clearly in detail, like number, incident number, caller, and then category, and then subcategory, urgency high, and then priority is the critical. Once we, this is the form, this is look like a form. In this look like a form, these are the fields, these are the values, and then this form is showing some of the attributes or some of the fields we want to show or we need to hide. These things we should do by using client scripts. Now in this module you will learn to write, test and debug two types of client side scripts. One is in client scripts and then UI policy scripts. Now, what is client script? Again, client script types. Again, client scripts are divided into three types. Again, client scripts are divided into three types. What are the three types? One is in loaded, and then changed, and then submitted. The client scripts execute client-side script logic when forms are loaded, changed, and submitted. Suppose first we want to load the form, and then if you want to change any field or any value inside the form, and then once everything is goes well, we need to submit this form. This is the scripts you need to write in client side scripts. First, what is the meaning of onload? What is the meaning of onload? Client scripts execute script logic when forms are loaded. Once forms are loaded, then only we should do write on onload logic. Use onload client scripts to manipulate a form's appearance or content. Once the form is loaded, if you want to manipulate a form's appearance or content. For example, setting field or form level messages based on the presence of value by using use onload client scripts sparingly as they impact form load times. When the form is loaded, what type of fields we want to manipulate or content. These are the things. How to? We need to write onload using use first user select record to a view. First we need to any one of the record we want to, first we need to see that record is visible or not. The record is nothing but here we will call it as a form. Record or form or both are same. Once we want to select the user record, then form load. The form is loaded. The record is the personal details. We need to select the record. Once click on the record, we need to, it will open one form, that is form loads. Form loads and is populated with recorded data. What is the data is available on that particular record? It is look like in a form. It is a form. Once it is loaded, it is a onload form. Once using the onload method scripts execute, then it will execute. And then how to execute? Once it is execute, again control return to user. Again we need to give the control to the user. Now where we should get the data? It is from, it is database. It is the database is helpful. This is the onload method. Onload method in client scripts. Now, next, once the form is loaded, in that form, what you want to change, what you want to manipulate from the record as well as form a particular record by using onChange method. Client scripts execute script logic when a particular field value changes. Whenever you want to change any value or any field value inside the form by using onChange method in client scripts. Use onChange client scripts to respond to field values of interest and to modify another fields value or attributes. If you want to modify any of the value also, any of the attributes also by using on change method. For example, if the state field value changes to closed complete, state field value, if you want to change any field, state also, otherwise priority also, whatever you want to field, you need to change using on change method, using on change methodology, generate and alert and make the description field mandatory. This is the on change method. Now coming to the how to look like. User once user form is ready, once user form is loaded, then after what you want to change from the form or fields, user modifies the field value. Once the form is loaded by using onload method, then after you want to modify any field value or any attribute value by using on change method. Now first you should select that particular field, whatever you want to modify, whatever you want to change the value inside the particular field. Now using on change client scripts execute, on send client scripts execute, then afterwards again you should give the return control return to the user. There is no database already. We should get the form from the database, then afterwards it is populated to from the user side by using on change method, whatever you want to field or value or attribute changes by using on change client script. Now then afterwards, but once loaded the form, then afterwards we want to modify the field or attribute, then after that we need to submit this form to again database or client user. Now, using on submit, client scripts execute script logic when a form is submitted. Use on submit client scripts to validate field values. Now, after done the changes by using the on change method, then afterwards we need to evaluate the field is exactly mapped or changed or not. Change or not, we should evaluate by using client scripts. For example, if a user submits a priority 1 record, the script can generate a confirmation dialog notifying the user that executive staff are copied in all priority 1 requests. Once we should submit the priority 1 request record, this record is populating wherever you want to have the priority 1. This is populating or not, we need to evaluate. This is the about on submit. Now user saves, submits or updates records, then afterwards we should use on submit method in the client scripts execute. Then afterwards again scripts can prevent writing to database and return controlled user. But where we need to modify these things, we are not able to modify the database. We only just modify the form on the client side, but not is in the database, and then prevent the writing to database and return control to user. Again we should give the control to the user. This is the this is client script again classified into the three types. One is in the onload method, on change method. I now on no on load method, on change method, and then on submit method. These three are in the client scripts. Client scripts. Now, the type field has a fourth option. Client also, another option is also there on cell edit. Another one is there on cell edit method is also there. If you want to edit whatever you changed in previous, if you want to edit the same field or same value or same form by using on cell edit method option is also there. Client script type is for lists rather than forms. Here we want to using not form wise, it is used in list type, list, but not a form, forms but not form. It is very very important, is very very important and the question also. On cell edit, the on cell edit client script type is for lists rather than forms. On cell edit client scripts are not addressed in this learning module. Ikkada manam I am not able to explain on cell edit methods. Now, creating client scripts. How to create the client scripts? How to create the client scripts? Now, the procedure of for adding files to an application in Studio. What is the application in Studio? Is the same regardless of file type. Now, first, how to create client scripts? First, click the create application file link. We need to click. Then after, choose the new file type, and in this case, we need to write client script. Then afterwards, configure the new file. How to open the new file, and then how to write the client script, then how to configure the new file. I am going to explain clearly in detail. First, as with any script, the configuration tells the script when to execute. What is the meaning of configuration? When the script to execute, it tells the script when to execute the client script configuration options. Now, how to configure the client scripts? How to configure? First, we should configure first name. Name is the first attribute. Name of client script, we should write what is the script you want to execute. Use a standard naming scheme to identify custom scripts first. And then table, which table? Table to which the script applies. Which table, on which table you want to apply the client scripts. And then UI type. UI means user interface type. Select whether the script executes for a desktop and a tablet or mobile or service portal or all. In which user interface you should select desktop application or tablet or mobile as well as service portal or all. Which type of UI service you want to open. And then type. Second one is the type. We should select the type. Select when the script runs, that is which type of change, on load, on submit. And then field name, which field you want to change or manipulate or edit. Used only if the script responds to a field value change or on change. Name of the field to which the script applies. And then active, controls whether the script is enabled. Inactive scripts do not execute. First, we need to activate which script you want to perform, that is on change, on load, on method. And then inherited is also very very important. If selected, the script applies to the specified table and all tables that inherit the form. The form, this form the same. Suppose some of the field is there in the particular form, the field is available in another forms also. We want to inherit the same changes in another forms or not, that is called inherited. For example, a client script on the task table will also apply to the change or incident and then problem and all other tables which extended task, that is called inherited. Suppose whenever you want to modify any one of the field in the particular form, this form is in the task table. Suppose the same field is appear in the another tables like change table, incident table, problem table in another tables. If you want to inherit the change in another tables also, that is called inherited. And then global. If global is selected, the script applies to all views. If the global field is not selected, you must specify the view. Here is the two options there. One is the global, another one is view. What is the view? View specifies the view to which the script applies. Which view to which the script applies. Global means all. The view field is visible when global is not selected. When the view is visible, global field is not selected. Once if you select the global field, the view is not visible for us. Suppose whenever you want to see view, don't select the global field. Now a script can only act on the fields that are part of the selected from a view. If the view field is blank, the script applies to the default view. Suppose whenever you want to uh, keep in empty in the view, it will the script is executed on the default view. Now how to look like this one? Now client script, it is in record. Now name demo client script. Now here table, which table if you want to onload. If you want to, once the form is loaded, then only we want to modify. Now onload method, and then UI type, which UI that is in a desktop, mobile, as well as server side, as well as all. And then type also very very important. Type, which type, and then application, it is in global. Now activate, and then whatever you want inherited, if you want to select, and then global if you want. Once in this global selected, there is no way to view attribute. Now now the field name, once you want to select the field name, is available for on change. Once form is loaded, whenever you want to change, once the form is loaded, the on change client scripts, the view field is available when the global option is not selected. Now here the global is there. Now whenever you want to not select the global, we able to see the view option. Otherwise the global only. Now suppose name, and then table, incident table, or change table, or task table, or managing table. UI type is the desktop, we should select the desktop. And then type on change, on load, as well as on submit. Now field name, whatever you want to change. State, you want to change state, that is in type on change. On change means already in the state name is already there. If you want to change in the field name state, we should select the state. And then description, if you want to add description, write description. And then application is the global view, and then active. And then I am not able to select the inherited, and then global. Once I am not able to selecting the global, automatically view field is visible to us. Now now I will explain the tip of how to develop a tip. Whenever client side logic is modified, whenever you want to modify the client side script, reload the main ServiceNow browser. First we want to run the main service PDI. PDI means personal developer instances. Then only we are able to write, we are able to perform the logic to ensure the latest logic is loaded. Otherwise it is already what the logic is happens in the old one, that is only appear. Now how to how to develop or how to execute, whenever we want to change or modify or load, that is in the main service now instance must be loaded. Otherwise we will miss the latest logic. We are only apply the old logic already exist in the application or server. Now this is the tip. Now how to write the script field, how to write the script field. Now first, when the type value is set, when the type value, which type value set, which type Which type means that is in on change, on change method, on load method, or on submit method. This is the type. Whatever you want to type, this is the method. And then the set script template is automatically inserted into a script field. Now onload method. This is the onload script template. Suppose this is a script function onload up and then curly braces start. Suppose this is the two slashes, two forward slashes. It is the JavaScript type, JavaScript as well as Java supported scripting language. Because of that reason, this line is nothing but a comment. When whatever you want to put comment before line, we should give two slashes. These two slashes is nothing but a comment symbols in Java script. Now in this function, what this function is doing, that is called type appropriate comment here and begin script below. Then afterwards, whatever you want script, you should write. Now the onload function has no arguments passed. It is very important. In onload function, no arguments passed to it. No, there is no way to pass any arguments. What are the arguments? And then different type of arguments. What type of arguments the JavaScript as well Java supported, I will explain. As indicated by the comment, this is the comment lines. This is the comments. Add your script logic in the onloaded function. Whenever you want to write any logic inside the onload function, it is a best practice to document your code. So include comments to explain what the script does. It is very important and best practice. Whatever you want to change, whatever you want to implement, develop the script with the comments, then only anyone can able to see these comments, easily understand what he or she has made changes inside the script. Now your future self also will thank you for the clearly documented script. This is the way of. Now this is the example script. Generate the alert when the user request a form is loaded for a record. The user cannot interact with the form until onload client scripts complete execution. Onload script can't execute it properly, but once write the logic also no use. Then only the onload script executed. Then after the form will loaded and the end of users environment, like that is in desktop as well as mobile as well as servers. Now function load. Then afterwards, this is the comment. Now we need to generate alert message. Now alert, thank you for loading the form. When you close this alert, you will be able to interact with the form. Then only once the form is loaded, user will get the thank you for loading the form. When you close this alert, you will be able to interact with the form. Otherwise we can't able to see or do anything inside the form. This is the this is the this is the onload method, onload script. Now function load. In the function load, it is a note is there. Note, no need to pass any arguments inside the onload function. Onload function, it is very important entry question also. There is no need to pass any arguments inside the onload function. Now these two hashes, slashes is nothing but a make a comment or put a comment for this function, what this function is do. And then alert message. Once the alert message is closed, then only the user form will appear in the client side. Now on submit. Now on submit template. On submit template. Once the alert is happen, now we need to submit. On submit the script template. Suppose same function on submit, and then it is the comment. Like this only we want to implement client scripts. Client client scripts, we want to client script only. Again client scripts contains Three types. One is in on load, on change, and on submit. I hope all of it clear. And then on submit function has no arguments passed. In on submit function is also no arguments passed to it. It is also very very important. As indicated by the comment, and add your script logic inside the on submit function. Same. It is also very very important contribution. This example script generates an alert when a user saves need IT record, need IT record or needed record. The record is not submitted to the server until the on submit client script complete execution and run return true. Now this is the function. This is the function look like a on submit generate alert. Thank you user submitting a record alert. Thank you for submitting a record. Here is also note no arguments passed inside the on submit function. Keep remember it is also very very important. Now now then afterwards on change, it is also very very important. Now on change only, if you want to pass arguments in on change script only, in on change script only, then whatever you want to arguments pass inside the on change method only. Now function on change, these are the arguments: control, old value, new value, is loading, is template. These are the arguments are values or parameters, all are the same. Arguments equal to parameters are values, all are the same meaning. Now if if is loading are new value equal to empty, then return. That is a type appropriate comment here and begin script below. This is the way of write. This is the way of write. Now the on change function is automatically passed five parameters. Now here is only five parameters only passed automatically. That is in control, new field, old value, new value, is loading, is template. These are the five automatically, but not user defined. These all five arguments comes automatically in on change function in by ServiceNow. Although you don't need to do anything to pass the parameters. After that you don't do any pass extra parameter inside the change function. These are the automatic arguments will comes at the on change function. First one is control, old value, new value, is loading, is template. You can use them in your script. Now control, old value, new value, is loading, is template. This is about the client scripts. This is the client script. Suppose is loading the symbol, and then new value equal to or is template in this written only. This is the way of writing client scripts on change method, on load method, on submit method. Keep note, in on load method, on submit method, there is no way to pass arguments inside the function. Only pass the argument inside the change function. That is the five arguments automatically pass inside the change function. That is in control, old value, new value, is loading, and then is templates. These are the five arguments only should pass inside the change function. Other than this, no need to pass any arguments inside the function, inside the change function. This is about the client script. Then afterwards I will explain clearly UI scripts as well as another scripts as well, server side scripts. What are the server side scripts is also there, how to execute in our PDI. I will explain clearly in detail. If you like this content, please subscribe and then share to your friends and then your respective useful groups. Thank you. If you have any queries regarding scripts in ServiceNow, uh, send me or ping me the in WhatsApp. That is my WhatsApp number. Otherwise you want to put message in YouTube also, I will respond in 24/7 if you have any doubts, or if you want any technology or any related ServiceNow also, Salesforce also, agentic AI also, generative AI also, data science also, machine learning, JavaScript as well as TypeScript, and then LLMs, transformers, and then AWS, Azure, GCP. Now coming to another stuff, um, Salesforce. I will explain clearly in detail if you have any doubts in the client script as well as server side. Thank you. Thanks for joining or thanks for listening. I am going to stop this video. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.